I'm going to do something simple today to demonstrate how you can sometimes make something very delicious just out of things that are on hand, maybe left over from something. What I have in the refrigerator is this jar of its Kikkoman plum sauce. I don't know what I bought this for. I think it might have been for making duck. But I thought, what if I were to use this as a base for a marinade? So that's what I want to do today. I'm going to make this plum sauce marinade for some pork shoulder. They're called country style ribs. I'll explain them when I show you the package. This is what I'm going to use for my meat. This is pork, and I bought this at Costco. Costco sells these. They're labeled as pork shoulder country style ribs boneless. I like these because they're boneless. They're easy to work with, and there's several strips in the package. It's pork shoulder is all it really is. They're not really ribs, but they're just strips of pork shoulder, and they're delicious. I think they work very well. Each one of these is about a pound. When I weigh them, they come in about a pound, which is about, what, 450 grams? Okay, so I'm going to set this aside, and then I'm going to start making my marinade. I'm going to open my jar of plum sauce here, and I'm going to put in a good 2 heaping teaspoons of plum sauce. And then a little splash of, this is vinegar. This is actually apple cider vinegar. Let's see if I can't use that to rinse off some of that spoon. My hands are clean. I've washed them actually several times because yesterday I fixed my neighbor's bike, and so my hands are quite greasy from that bicycle. Okay, so a little splash of vinegar, maybe a 1/4 cup. And then I have here some soy sauce. Same thing, about a 1/4 cup. And then finally, some freshly ground black pepper. Really simple, only 4 ingredients. Gonna mix that together. I'm gonna take one of my big strips of pork here and place that in there. I put a glove on. Turn that around. And I'm going to marinate this for 30 minutes because America's Test Kitchen did a test of marinades. And they found that marinades, because they only flavor the outer surface of the meat, they don't go all the way through the meat. They say anything beyond 30 minutes is a waste of time. You're not going to add more flavor to the meat unless you inject it inside. So I'm going to do this for 30 minutes. I'm going to cover this, and maybe every 5-10 minutes or so, I'm going to turn this over in the marinade just to flavor it evenly. You could put that in a Ziploc bag and just turn the Ziploc bag over every 5-10 minutes or so. And I should probably say you can do this just as easily with your favorite chicken pieces. So here is my country style rib. And because this has been in the refrigerator for 30 minutes and the meat has only been in there for 30 minutes, I can use this marinade also as a barbecue sauce, which I will do toward the end of the cooking time, about halfway through the cooking time. But the next thing I need to do is to set up my air fryer. This here is my Omark air fryer, and by way of transparency, they gave me this for free to use in my videos. I'm going to take the drawer out, which I lined with parchment paper because it makes cleanup easier. And then I'm going to put that piece of pork in there. And by the way, this is enough to feed 4 people. This is a 1 pound piece, figuring 3 to 4 ounces is a serving. Place that back inside. And then press the start button. I like to slow cook my pork ribs, so I just press the thermometer button. I'm going to turn the heat down to 200. I'm going to press the timer button and turn the time up to 30 minutes and then press start. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook that pork for 2 hours at 200 degrees, and every 30 minutes I'm going to turn it over. During the second half of the cooking time, I will mop the meat with some of this sauce that I have left over. And again, I can use this because there wasn't a lot of buildup of bacteria, because it was in there. The meat was only in there for 30 minutes, and it was in the refrigerator. So this is still usable. I'll just put this back in the refrigerator while this is cooking. This has been cooking now for just under 2 hours. I'm going to check the temperature. It's about 150. So what I want to do now is I'm going to coat the top with some of my marinade. Put that back in there, and I'm just going to cook this at a high temperature, a few minutes at a time, just to kind of sear that top a little bit. I'm ready to start plating my roast pork here. As I said, this is enough for 4 people, so I'm not going to plate all of that, but maybe I'll give myself a generous portion, about a third of it. It's cooked all the way through. It's a little bit pink, and boy, is that tender in there and juicy. That looks really good. Set that aside. Put my plate down. That's my portion to enjoy. And then, because I love it so much, I'm going to put some sauteed broccoli on there. That's my lunch. Looks good, looks juicy and tender. Yes. That is so good. It's got a little bit of the flavor of that plum sauce, but the flavor of the pork stands out. So that's a nice balance of flavors. Okay, excuse me, but I'm going to go enjoy my lunch.